you know, if you sign up for a lot of things, and I mean, I'm going to sign up for everything because it's part of my job, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't need to hear, I don't have children, I don't need to hear about soccer cancellations. I'll probably pull myself off of those. But I think it would be good to, you know, I think the city's good at this is another way we can push out information, and then we're working on a website overhaul that's going to happen later this year. We're taking lots of stuff going on in the development phase, so it's getting ready to hit.
Is there anything in the foreseeable future that you know that you can be able to recycle plate glass?
I do not know.
Well, yeah, it is a market, and on our recycling plan, we would like to stand it include construction and demolition waste. So that is in the scope of work that we're asking the consultant to develop to help us figure this out, because it's something we intend to take, but we have to set up the infrastructure to do so. So we're working on it, but it's going to take care of it. Because glass, although it's environmentally benign, it's very heavy, and so it costs us quite a bit to dispose of it, because you guys truck it all the way to the landfill and you pay by weight. So we do have a pretty good economic incentive to recycle that material. Anything else?
I would ask, like one of my colleagues about Mr. Jefferson for the farmers market. She had mentioned Walker Park. What was the choice of the officer in that color scheme? Why did they choose Jefferson over Walker?
I don't know what it is. I know that next to Walker, there's a state parking lot. They have a shared street where they make it rain. They use that to make it money. But I think that Jefferson Center, they reached out to the farmers market and they wanted it made them have been a relationship. But it's, you know, it's in a neighborhood, it's convenient, it's not too far from the other farmers market, and it's in an area that's underserved. So we thought it was an excellent location.
You know if the underpass at MLK is finished? Are there any plans to put art in it around, anywhere around here?
Well, there aren't yet, but hopefully we will develop some as part of our Main Street program. Okay. Hold that thought.
Like I've mentioned at previous meetings, we continue to really struggle with cars running so fast up and down Block and East Streets in this just north of here. And now, especially that the crosswalk is in across Martin Luther King, it's still pretty hit and miss as if we are actually having cars stop for us when we're trying to, hopefully not literally hit and miss, but it's still pretty hit and miss if we can cross or if we just have to wait, the same as always. But the traffic going up and down East Street, Block Street where we live, has increased so much, you know, pedestrian traffic. And I don't know if that's the trail opening so that people are coming down and walking back up or what, but it's still pretty dangerous to be walking on it. And now that we're having so much more pedestrian traffic, I think it's going to just further increase our difficulty in crossing Highway 71 going north. You know, there's just no good way to get from here to downtown.
No, there's not, and that is also something we're intending to address with the Main Street program. So it's definitely on the radar, and part of the problem is there is no good way to fix it.
Even something like just Mountain Street, isn't that the southernmost stoplight at downtown?
Yeah.
Just having a pedestrian, you know, so we don't have to walk up one further stop to get a light. You know, it's not that big of a deal, but it's one more block up a pretty good hill.
Yeah, it's a state highway, and that's a big deal.
Okay.
But I will forward your request and we'll see what we can do. And we're hoping that by becoming part of the Arkansas Downtown Network, that might give us a little more sway with the Arkansas Highway Department. So that's on the radar.
And one day I noticed a speed, I don't know what to call it, speed calculator at the crosswalk on MLK, and then it was up for 60 days and then it was down. And I was wondering if there was any more analysis of that, or that was leading, I think it would be helpful if we did another step on the crosswalk, like the middle thing, just to help people see it. Because I've gotten almost hit many times because people just don't even,
Okay.
they
I
just
can
don't
look
even
into that
see you.
and find out.
Yeah.
Because I know we did several speed studies there, and we were gonna redo them because I guess they've done it when.
Yeah, now that there's baseball traffic again.
It was when school was out, and so we're gonna redo it, and I'm not sure if that got done or not.
And I think the center marker would be similar to North Street, right at UAMS. It's
Yeah.
less about the speed. It's not people speeding, they're going the right speed, but they just don't even see you. And so to put speed bumps, I know those are really expensive, but just a center marker or a flashlight, a flashing light like they have on North, I think would be very effective.
Okay, we'll have to see what the highway department will allow us to do there. That's really the issue with that.
Yeah. Did you have to communicate with the state highway department to have just that, the marking across the street?
Yeah,
You did.
yeah.
Is that something that was a conflict, or were they like, yeah, sure?
I wasn't privy to that conversation, so I'm not sure, but generally they don't like to give us crosswalks. I'll look into that and see what, I wish the Terry was still here to answer.
I know, I really missed them. Or like that flashing light just on the side of the road, I guess it's the same idea, but, I think with the new trail through the park, we've had so many more people walking back and forth. And it just does help have safe ways to get out of the neighborhood. I honestly go up Archibald Yell with my son and I walk across it every time now. I just try to be really smart about it and be careful.
That's just a little bit.
I'll bring my answer in one way.
That's for sure. People come home from school, and they cut through the East and College to get over to MLK, so they avoid the traffic light. And they flying through it. I'm very fortunate, I live on a dead end street, which is accident happens off the window. If you don't go fast enough, someone will stop and cut you out when you're slowing down. And that's a residential neighborhood, dangerous.
Right, so what if we got some more officers on patrolling traffic down there?
I'd love to see some people get tickets.
Okay.
I don't know how you would do it without, because everyone's not many people watching local television these days, Showtime or whatever. How do you educate people to know that if pedestrians in that street, they have a right of way? I just don't think there's an easy way to do it, 100 degrees or feet below, and people won't stop breathing.
But also, if we get the police officers down there and they're caught doing it, they'll quickly figure it out.
Yeah, I also think, as far as sidewalk striping, which, you've heard me say that, I would like to see something, if we're gonna make this kind of a fun barrio art district area, to have them color, instead of having make it a rainbow, or make it some other design, they're all over the web, you can see pictures of cities that have gone creative with the crossing markers, and if we are a funky town, let's do something like that. So people will see it.
And we're going to solve the speaker problem, perhaps, this might sound draconian for cameras attached to putting them on your speed.
Yeah.
So that,
And we had one of those down there for a few days. Just a big thing, a white thing.
The ones where you automatically get a ticket in the mail.
Well, that happens in Arizona, it's highways, but even on a residential street, it makes more sense. Why not? Especially if they're repeat offenders. It triggers if you're over a certain speed, and then boom.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I will make that suggestion. Okay, move on to Tuesday right here.
Hello, y'all. I'll try to be as briefly as possible so we can have time for questions.
So, I want to start with the insurance services office rating. We have a new, our public protection classification rating went from 4 to 2. We just got recently rated, and so that should impact your homeowner's insurance, and it should make it decrease. Okay, so we have that starts June 1st. We have a letter. We've been getting calls since we talked about this at the town hall meeting from people who have contacted their insurance agent on their homeowner's insurance, and their agent needed a letter stating when it would start and a letter from the fire department saying that this is our rating, and so we'll be happy to do that for you if you call our office. Contact your agent. I don't know if all of them will need that or not, but that rating went from 4 to 2 should lower your homeowner's insurance, and it should have an impact on any business in the city also. So that came from, the last time we were rated was in the 90s, and since then the city has built fire stations. We have 3 fire stations. We have, the water department has put in loops instead of dead-end pipes, and they've increased the size of the water mains and put in more fire hydrants. The fire department installed a fire prevention bureau, so we have a fire marshal's office that's staffed with 3 assistant fire marshals and a public education expert, and then the fire marshal himself. So the city has done some things over the years that when we re-rated our public protection classification improved quite a bit. So anyway, get hold of your insurance agent and ask them about the new ISO rating, and they'll talk to you about what they can do to lower your homeowner's insurance. So,
That's not an insurance professional. Kudos to you guys. That's no small feat. You know, that's really impressive to have gone. Number 1 is the best you can possibly get. So you guys are right there. Good job.
well, thank you. The whole city that did it. I mean, it was the water department and telecommunications, dispatchers, and the fire department. So thank you very much. And next, I thought I'd give you a brief overview of the department. Okay, so we've got, we handled 8,500 calls for service last year. So we do about 7 a day, emergency, 170 to 200 calls a week is what we respond to. And we do that with 9 fire companies. And a fire company is a fire truck and 3 personnel, a captain and driver operator and a firefighter. And they work out of 7 fire stations. We have 6 engine trucks, which are the trucks that have the fire pumps on it. And then we've got 3 ladder trucks, okay? So that's our fleet of active fire trucks. We've got a reserve fleet that is 3 engines, older engines, and 1 soon to be 1 older ladder, and we have 114 personnel. We have 99 or 110 frontline firefighters split up into 3 shifts, and we staff these fire trucks. We've got 2 trail response vehicles that we got last year, and they're a 6-wheeler with a fire pump on it and a water tank and a stretcher, so that we can go to the trails and the remote locations and get people out of predicaments that they get into when they're hiking and camping and on the trail, and brush fires that happen in some of those locations, and get the patients back out to the street so that the ambulance can pick them up and take them. We've got 2 rescue boats for floods that we rescue people out of high water. We've got 1 rescue unit, which is a truck with a lot of compartments in it, so that we can put shoring and cribbing and plywood and things like that on it, saws. We've got you'll see at a motor vehicle accident, we send the battalion chief and 2 fire companies. We'll send a ladder company. They perform the rescues and do the extrications where we cut cars apart and get people out to where we can get them on the ambulance. And our ladder companies are our technical rescue teams. So they do rope rescues, and they do trench rescues when trenches collapse. They do building collapse rescues. They do confined spaces rescues, like in manholes, water rescues. So they're our technical rescue experts. And we have the fire marshal's office, like I mentioned earlier. They do code enforcement, so they do building inspections. They do arson investigations. They dig the fire to find out where the fire started, and then try to find who started the fire if it's intentionally set. We have a public education expert, and she reaches thousands of people every year. She's also hooked up jointly with the county and Springdale with a juvenile fire prevention program. So we focus on juvenile fire setters and try to get them out of a bad pattern and back into a good pattern, and try to get the families involved in it. So that, in a nutshell, that's the fire department. Now, I want to focus some on the fleet. We have of the fire trucks that we used to have a fire truck replacement program, and that program ended. And so when I first got here in 2010, we didn't have a fire truck replacement program. In 2012, the City Council approved the capital improvement project plan, and so we have in the current capital improvement project plan, we have a fire truck replacement program in that. And so we've got this year we actually combined 2 years capital money so that we'd have enough money to buy 1 ladder truck this year. So last year we didn't buy a fire truck. We got the money and we rolled it over to this year. This year we're going to purchase a ladder truck and replace one of our older ladder trucks, which is ladder 3. Next year we're going to replace an engine, and then the next year, 2016, we'll replace an engine. 2017, the plan is to replace another ladder truck, one of the big huge ones, ladder 4 that's up north. And then this year right now we're forming a plan for the next 2 years for the City Council to look at. And so, and I mean the next 2 years, I mean 2018 and 2019. And so we'll be asking for fire trucks on those years too. We had, in 2004, we bought 3 fire trucks. I think we leased them, I guess. And in 2005, we had 2 more. And so they're starting to get miles on them, and they're reaching the end of their useful life. So we're working to try and get them replaced as quick as we can. The City Council also, in 2013, authorized us to apply for a grant. In addition to that capital program, the Assistance to Firefighters Grant, FEMA grant, and we've applied for a fire truck through that, and we're waiting to hear whether we're going to get that one or not. And so that's the things that we consider when we're trying to figure out which truck to replace. There's a lot involved in that. We have, and one of the things, our guidelines are called the National Fire Protection Association, and they are a group that sets the standards for the fire service industry. And so their recommendation is 10 years on an engine to replace an engine, and 15 years to replace a ladder company. And you know that's when they hit 10 years, they've been rode hard and put up wet, you know, a lot of times, because the number of runs we're doing is increasing every year. And so the old program that we had, there was too much time in between buying them and using them hard and then turning them out. And so we've tried to step that up with the current plan that we have. And the other things that are considered in addition to those are guidelines. You know, if one blows an engine when it's 8 years old, then the city will replace it for us. So that's a guideline that we use, but there are other things involved. You know, we have a truck that hardly ever runs, our rescue vehicle. So, you know, the number of miles, the number of hours it runs, and the cost of the maintenance, that sort of thing's really low. And so it's lasted us a long time. It doesn't get used road hard and put up wet like the others. But we also figure in deciding which one to replace is the number of miles on it, the number of hours that the motor is operated, you know, the emergency volume, meaning the number of calls it makes every year in its area and in the whole city, the maintenance cost, and the number of downtime hours that it's been out of service getting worked on. So, you know, which truck we replace may change from what we have planned for in the capital plan, or the capital improvement plan. So, you know, if we're going to, for example, replace engine 4 in 2019, but it chews up the bearing earlier than that, then we'll replace it. We'll move it up in the plan. So, anyway, it's complicated, but anyway, we're trying to step up the time gap in between. We're trying to improve the time or decrease the time of service of the fire trucks over a period of years. So anyway, I wanted to report on that. And take any questions that y'all might have about anything.
What's that?
I've spent a lot of time on this lately. I don't have any questions for you. I appreciate all the information you've given me. I appreciate the work that you do. I appreciate the strength that the fire department is under. What I want to know from my city council is, you know, we spent $1.25 million for Mount Tesla. We got $1.1 million into the CIP from the sale of the come and go property. We got $91,000 for scrapping the debris. I don't know if you guys were at, well, I know you weren't at the town hall meeting, but I was there. And I don't know if you heard or not, but, you know, the figures, and again, I spent some time with Captain Dayringer, or Chief Dayringer, I'm sorry. And he talked about, you know, the optimal time to replace these engines and go back 10 years, 15 years. Their CIP plan calls for ladder 3 to be replaced in 2014. My understanding is that bid is with the city council at this time, hasn't been approved yet. That ladder truck, according to the 10...
Let me correct something there if I could. It's not with the city council, it's in purchasing.
Okay,
purchasing. That's our problem.
Yeah, wherever.
City council's already approved it through the capital.
So it's at purchasing. But my problem is, and it should be everybody's problem, especially because tolls are going up every year, so these trucks are getting rode hard and put up wet. That ladder truck, according to the 10 and 15, should have been replaced in 2011. Engine 6 is on the CIP plan for 2018. Under the 10 years, it should be replaced in 2011. Engine 7, again, replaced in 2018, should be replaced in 2011. Engine 2, exact same year. Ladder 4 isn't up for replacement under the current plan till 2017. Should be replaced in 2014. Ladder 1 on the plan for 2016 should be replaced in 2012. Engine 4 on the plan for 2019 should be replaced in 2012. Ladder 1 not till 2020 should be replaced in 2015. Engine 5 2019. And actually that one is getting replaced ahead of schedule.
by 1 year. When you look at those numbers and you do some simple math, the engines on average are going to be replaced 5.16 years later than they should. The ladders are going to be replaced 3.6 years later than they should. Now I understand that some of that is going to change. Like you said, some of them, the engine's going to go, whatever. But overall, we're way late on replacing our engines and our ladders. Mayor chased me out of the town hall meeting the other night and said, well, have they ever, I've always given them what they've asked for. You don't get to pass the buck to the fire department. They're well aware that we've had a recession. All the departments are under a budget constraint. I'm a business professional. I get that. They're not going to ask for what they don't think they may get. They've tried very hard to do their part in not exceeding a budget, not taking away from another department by saying, hey, we need this. But as a citizen, I'm saying, I don't care if I have Mount Kessler for $1.25 million. If one of the engine trucks that's 5 years overdue from being replaced conks out on the way to my house fire and my son dies, I don't care. If we've sold if we've made $1.1 million off the sale of the Come and Go property, buy the fire department, the new Engine 7. We know it was supposed to be, it should have been done in 2011 under optimal circumstances.
Excuse me a minute. Maybringer, are those numbers right?
Those numbers are right. They're right. They're numbers that we gave to her. The point I was trying to make a while ago is there are other considerations other than just the time guidelines from the NFPA standard. Like the other things that I was mentioning, the number of hours, miles, and the runs they make. And so that's not the only thing that we gauge whether we need to replace a fire truck.
If the city had unlimited funds, would you want to replace those ladders and engines at the 10-15 year mark?
I would.
Okay, so, we don't have unlimited funds, and I'm not
No, we
suggesting.
don't have unlimited.
Right.
In fact, all of our departments have made cuts and they're holding back and we're stretching things out and we're making.
I just acknowledge
And
that.
we've balanced our budget for the last 3 years on the backs of our employees. They've done without raises until last year we were finally able to give them raises. We're finally able to give them another raise this year. They're still not up to market.
Yep.
So everyone is making sacrifices. And as far as Kessler Mountain goes, I received more emails in support of Kessler Mountain than I have on any other issue. And our city hall was packed that night. We actually had a standing room only, and there were people lined up outside the door, and every single one of them was in support of us putting this land in conservation for future generations.
I wonder though, how many of them knew that the fire fleet is becoming grossly outdated. I wonder how many of them have done the FOI request and gotten the information on how many hours those pieces of equipment are out. I wonder how many of them knew that maybe a month ago, that I contacted the city council and